Folks, I'm going to do a little something different today for an opening. I've been on vacation this week, and I'm going to walk down here and show you what's going on. Now, I didn't take off. I took a week of vacation, excuse me. Allergies acting up. I've been cleaning and walking down to the shop. What we've been doing all morning is cleaning our buildings up. The green building you see closed up, so the old storage building, it's been there for a long time. It's kind of rough shape, but it was in bad shape, had just way too much junk in it. So I cleaned it off, hauled 2 pickup loads of crap out of the way, get stuff out of the way. The other thing is, we're going to get a new lathe, and you know, from the last week's about the lathe video, so I needed to clean the shop up some here to be able to do what I want to do. Well, I pulled the trigger, decided to get a grizzly lathe. The main reason I decided to go with the grizzly over some other choices is because of a lot of people on one of the boards that I'm on really talk about the customer service, and some people on YouTube really talked about the customer service. Now, I've heard some negatives, and I did get a comment on my last video about the negatives, but I liked a little better option in dealing with the Precision Matthews. And Precision Matthews is a fine machine. I just didn't feel comfortable going that route. Grizzly's been there. At least you can get parts. The people at PM are nice people, and you don't get me wrong. It's just that they're just not big enough, and also the delivery. My machine, I told them not to ship it or to pull the order till next week since I was on vacation, and I was actually not supposed to come back to the day I'd went to Mrytle Beach for a couple of days. However, if you'll see kind of in the shop how we've got things sort of opened up here. However, my friend who was with me had a problem and really didn't feel good. And I made another tactical error. I went down to Mrytle Beach on Black Bike Week, which I don't take these the wrong way. The bikers is on the Japanese bikes. Most of them are black, so that's why they call it that for. But most of the people that I met was really nice people that were staying in our area. But they've always been some things that just went on there that week. I mean, there's just a few bad apples, like everything else. So what you see on the back of my truck's an old stereo unit, and I'm fixing to take it to the trash dump to be recycled. And after we do that, then we're going to kind of come back and take it easy. I'm going to turn this around and let you kind of look at me a minute. So this week's video is not going to have any machining in it. Basically what you're going to see in this opening is what we've got going on. Basically I am going to throw some clips of some stuff I got in from Inco, and primarily getting ready for the new machine. So that's kind of what we're going to do. Now, another thing that I'm going to go ahead and say while I'm standing out here in the yard doing this is basically the PM and Grizzly machines total weight's about 1,000 pounds. You notice I have a utility type building, so that will hold it. The only thing I'm going to do a little different is for my lathe sets, I'm going to reinforce it with some extra piece of real thick plywood to spread the load out. I'm going to put the load, you'll see it in the mail. I've already ordered the pads. So I'm going to set the lathe up on pads and level it that way, and it should be very stable for me that way. My mill's not stable, and I'm going to fix that. Once I get the lathe in, I'm going to make a stand for the mill and spread its feet out a little bit and set it in a stand. And then buy some more legs like that for the mill. We'll get one step done at a time. The lathe's going to be the first one. So what we're going to do now is basically I'm going to run down to the convenience site, and we're going to unload some stuff. So have a great day, and we will see you later. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's this week's buy, and I'm going to show you kind of what it is going handheld. These are machine leveling pads. In case you've seen the other video about the lathe, I have purchased a new lathe. I'm going to order a Grizzly G703 gunsmith's lathe, similar to what Ray Caniglia's got and a few other folks. These are some adapters to allow you to adapt your basically, allow you to adapt your some of my other tooling that I already have, basically Mars taper tooling. This is a precision level I ordered from Shars. I mean, I know it's not the greatest in the world, but for us to level up the lathe with, it'll be fine. And finally, extra tool holders, whole box full. So I have some extra twos. What's ironic, I sent Stan a two that I had. Probably I'll remill some of my other tool holders too. I haven't decided that yet. When I get to it, I'll look at that too. So that's where we at. This is what this week's mail is. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought I'd throw something else in. When I was cleaning today, I've been looking for this. This is a probably early 70s Ambassador open face spinning reel that belonged to my dad. There's a lot of these out now, but you won't find a finer spinning reel than these Ambassadors, and these are one of the old ones. It's really good. I mean, they've got new ones with ball bearings. So this one has a dial handle on it because my dad had changed it, but because he wanted a bigger handle, he didn't like the little handle that come on the reels. But this is one of his reels. He was an avid bass fisherman, and this is the only reel he actually kept. He sold the rest of them way when he had to quit fishing in the middle 70s. His health finally got to the place he just couldn't go. And he kept this reel. It was in one of the drawers here in the house. And actually, believe it or not, when they packed all this stuff up, it was packed up in a box. And that plastic thing in the center is not an original piece, but it was an aftermarket part you could buy to take up some, you wouldn't have to put as much spool, basically line on your reels, because these had real small spools. And I thought that I'd throw that in this week's video. Like I said, I'm going to keep this, actually I'm going to keep it out, actually where I can look at it. I'm going to set it up on with some other stuff here in the kitchen. Actually what I'm going to do, in here in the kitchen, I'm going to set the reel right up here. And it's going to be there where I can look at it. Remember my dad. And because I sure don't want to sell it. It's not, it's priceless to me. I did call a buddy out of curiosity. He said nowadays about $50 is all they're worth anyway. So I'd rather keep my $50. I'd rather keep the reel than give it up for $50. I think my dad bought it at $75 or $80 at that time. Okay, well have a great day. Well, on my way back, I decided to make another stop. You've always heard me talk about my dad being passed. Well, there's his grave, and the reason I'm stopping today is I did take a picture of him. It's the flower arrangement on it. The church here, the home church, had Memorial Sunday or homecoming, wherever you would prefer to go by. A lot of different churches. So basically what we got right here is the church, is my dad's grave, and I had the flower arrangements, what I really wanted to see. Local florist lady that's here, Sharon Horn at DNS Flowers and Monuments, usually takes care of me. I just basically go in, say, hey, I need something done. Usually about 3 times a year I change them. And that way it looks good. And in case you're wondering, my dad would have been, he would have been 89 years old about last week. This if he had been living. He born in May 18th of 1926. If you could see the headstone, so you can see my dad. This is how long he has been passed. It's almost 20. See, this is 19. Yeah, almost 30 years, 29 years now. It will be in September, so it's been a good while. My dad, like I say, it's been a while. I was 30 when he passed. My mother, you know, is in a rest home, and that's the thing about it is it's the truth, you know, unfortunately. And what the odd thing is my grandparents' grave is the one over. My dad died in September of '86, and my grandfather died about 6 months later in 1987. And so it's like I say, it's been a while. My grandmother passed right after I went to Salisbury, and I come back. What the weird thing is with Mom's brothers, she and another brother, her and her younger brother are still alive. Her oldest brother died 2 years ago, and her baby brother actually died first about 2000, right before my grandmother did, actually. So that's the kind of situation what we got going on right now. And so I want you to, like I say, it's just something else we're putting in the thing. Have a good one. Hey everybody, I'm sorry that I'm having to redo my closing when I was putting the video together. The video just didn't turn out right, and the sound was cruddy, and without a microphone it was outside, and it just did not do what I wanted to do. But basically what you've seen in this video is I've gotten my weldings ready and cleaned, sort of where I could start moving some machines. Basically, I think I was talking about the plan, and the plan is, as we go right now, is my main plan is the machine should be here. I'm hoping if it's not the end of the week, it'd be the first of next, well, 2 weeks from, well, probably I'm hoping at least a week from the day, or maybe sometime first of the June sometime. Just depends. And what we're going to do is the machine's going to be lift gated to here. We're going to put it on the carport and uncrate it. I'm going to put the reinforcement in and set the leveling, set the stands up, leveling pads. Have the lathe put up in the shop with skid steer, the forks. And then we're going to move the lathe back, and then we'll lift the engine crane and set it on the stands so we can level it. Probably there'll be some different videos, and probably that for the next few weeks shop talk's going to be getting the lathe together, getting, you know, once it gets here and whatever. I'm not sure exactly on my tooling what I'm going to do. I bought these extra BXAs because I'm going to transfer some of my tooling. Some of the ones that I've milled down, excuse me, scratch my nose, a little bit of allergies as I said earlier. Some of the BXA stuff of some tools that I've modified for AXA, I may just take them apart and remill them, make them a little larger. I haven't already decided. I was kind of looking at that today. I'm going to get a game plan together on that. I want to work on that mill though and restabilize it once I get the new lathe in and get it running. So we'll just see how things go. I'd love to have a bridge for it, but I don't have the building for it. I don't know. I keep thinking long term about building another building like I've had in the past. And I'm still batting it around in my head, but I'm just not completely sure about that. It's just, it would cost probably at least $10,000 to $12,000 to $15,000 to build the size building I wanted to get it finished out. And that's just a lot of money, and I'm not so sure that I'm really wanting to swallow that much of an investment. Because I would like, you know, might be closer to 20 now. The last one I did about 10 years ago, I had about 10 grand and it wasn't even insulated. And you know, I want to insulate the next one I build. I want it to be insulated. And so you know, if I go with a metal building especially, that's probably what I would want to do. I'd want to have its own power and everything. So that's just a lot of outlay for a hobby, and I'm not so sure that's what I want to do. I may end up doing it anyway, because I'm going to have to replace the building, and that may be what I'll do, and use the building I have, build a long ramp, and put my mowers or stuff in it. I'm not completely sure yet, but basically that's where I'm at, what I'm thinking about doing. And it's basically right now I want to get the Grizzly in and get it running. So I appreciate you coming in this week watching the video. I apologize, we're not about any projects working on. I've got some ideas once this lathe gets to running on a collet system I'm wanting to build myself. I can buy one that uses 5Cs, but I'm thinking I think it's it's not ER30s, I think it's ER25s. It's a smaller collet set that I had bought the collets and stuff to work on eBay, and I've had it for a couple of years. And the idea was to build a collet set for the little lathe. And it would be perfect because you could, you know, for the collet work that I want to do. And I still may do that, and that's kind of what I want to do. It may be my next big project. So that's what we're looking at, and I'll redo this closing for you. So you just have a great week.